I want to start this video with a very simple but very important question. When you get up in the morning and place your feet on the floor, what do you feel first? Stiffness? A sharp pinch? That dull ache in your lower back that takes a few seconds to let go? That uncomfortable moment when you rise slowly, push with your hands, and think, let's see how my back feels today? Millions of people over 60 wake up every day with lower back pain. For some, it is a mild annoyance. For others, it is the kind of pain that changes everything: how they walk, how they sit, how they sleep, how they bend, and even how they enjoy the day. They start avoiding movements. They move with fear. They walk less. They take fewer stairs. They stop carrying bags. They stop playing on the floor with their grandchildren. And little by little, without even realizing it, the pain does not just affect their back, it starts stealing their independence. And here is the problem. Most people try to fix it the wrong way. They bend forward to touch their toes. They twist their spine from side to side, thinking they are loosening it up. They do old-school stretches they were told were good for the back. And although those movements may sometimes feel relieving for a few minutes, they are often making worse the exact structures that need the most protection at this stage of life. Not because stretching is bad, not because movement itself is dangerous, but because when there is wear and tear, stiffness, disc sensitivity, or weakness in the core, certain repeated movements of deep bending and twisting can irritate tissues that are already asking for help. In other words, not everything that feels like a stretch is truly helping. And today, I want to completely change the way you think about lower back pain. Because if your back has been bothering you for months or years, maybe the problem is not that you need more stretching. Maybe the problem is that you need more stability. Maybe the problem is not that your back is too tight. Maybe the problem is that it has lost support. And that is where the 3 exercises we are going to cover today come in. 3 movements recommended again and again by physical therapists and spine specialists, because they help strengthen the muscles that truly protect the spine, the deep stabilizers, the glutes, and the core. You do not need machines, you do not need a gym, you do not need to spend money. You just need a few minutes a day, a comfortable surface, and the willingness to do these movements slowly and with good form. And stay with me until the end, because exercise number 1 is, for many people, the one that completely changes how safe and supported their lower back feels. It teaches the body to build a kind of natural brace, using your own muscles, without forcing the spine, and without depending on painkillers, just to get through the day. Before we begin, leave a comment below telling us your age and what city or country you are watching from today. I love seeing where this community is joining from, and your comments also help more people with back pain find this content. Now let's begin. But before we get into the exercises, I need to explain something that most people never hear, and without understanding this, it is very hard to choose the right movements. Your spine does not only need flexibility, your spine needs control. Think of your back like the mast of a ship. It is not enough for the mast to be strong. It needs ropes, tension, balance, and support around it to stay stable when there is wind, movement, or load. In your body, those ropes are the deep muscles of the abdomen, the back, the pelvis, and the glutes. They are the ones that distribute the load, absorb force, and keep all the work from falling again and again onto the joints, discs, and ligaments. When those muscles are strong and coordinated, your back feels safe. When they are weak, sleepy, or disorganized, every everyday movement feels heavier. Standing up from a chair feels heavier. Walking feels heavier. Bending down feels heavier. Even standing for a long time feels heavier. And that is exactly what happens with age if we do not train those systems. Not because getting older automatically means pain, but because over the years we tend to sit more, move less, protect ourselves too much after an episode of pain, and lose strength in the very muscles that should be helping us. That is why these 3 exercises matter so much. They are not trying to make you more flexible at any cost. They are trying to give you back support. They are teaching your body how to hold your spine again. They are taking work away from the structures that have been overloaded for years. And we are going to start with number 3. Exercise number 3, Bird Dog. I want you to pay very close attention to this exercise, because even though it looks simple, it works on something most people never see and almost never train correctly: the small stabilizing muscles that run along the spine. These muscles are not big or flashy. They are not the muscles you see in a gym photo. They are deep, quiet, but essential. They are like the fine screws that keep a structure solid. They do not attract attention until they fail. And when they fail, you begin to get compensations, protective postures, pinching, a feeling of instability, and lower back fatigue by the end of the day. As the years go by, especially if you have spent many hours sitting, those muscles stop activating well. They do not disappear overnight, but they become less efficient, they participate less. And when that happens, the lower back loses part of its ability to control movement from one vertebra to the next. That means normal tasks like walking, turning to grab something, bending a little, or getting out of bed can start to hurt more than they should. This is where the bird dog stands out. This exercise trains spinal stability while you move the opposite arm and leg. And that forces the body to resist rotation, maintain balance, and activate exactly those deep muscles you want to wake up. It is not about making a big movement, it is about keeping the back steady while the rest of the body moves under control. Here is how to do it. Find a mat, a folded blanket, or a comfortable surface. Get onto all fours. Your hands should be under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Spread your fingers and distribute the weight evenly. Look down at the floor so your neck stays relaxed and aligned. Imagine your back is a table, not sagging downward and not rounded upward. Now, before moving anything, breathe and gently engage your abdomen. You do not need to squeeze hard. Just think about lightly tightening the abdominal wall, as if you were about to receive a gentle tap on the stomach. From there, slowly extend your right arm forward and your left leg backward. You do not need to lift them very high. In fact, one of the most common mistakes is lifting the leg too high and ending up arching the lower back. We do not want that. We want length, not height. Reach as if someone were pulling your hand forward and your heel backward. Hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds. And now pay attention to what should not happen. Your pelvis should not rotate. Your back should not move. Your neck should not tense up. Your abdomen should not sag. The entire goal of the exercise is for the body to learn to hold that line while the arm and leg move away from each other. Then return slowly to the starting position and switch sides, left arm with right leg. Do it very calmly. The slowness here is not a minor detail. It is the difference between a control exercise and a movement done by momentum. Start with 3 sets of 6 to 8 repetitions per side if you are a beginner, or 8 per side if you already tolerate the movement well. Rest between sets. If your knees hurt, place a thick towel or a firm cushion under them. And what should you feel? A sense of work in the abdomen, the glutes, and around the back, but without sharp pain. If you feel a pinch in the lower back, reduce the range, lift the leg less, engage the abdomen more. Sometimes a very small adjustment changes the exercise completely. What is wonderful about the bird dog is that it teaches the body a skill that is incredibly useful in real life. Staying stable while moving. And that is exactly what the back needs in order to walk, climb stairs, turn, carry small things, and keep its balance without feeling threatened all the time. And now here is something important. Many people give up on this exercise because they do not feel it strongly. They do not sweat. They do not shake. It does not look impressive. But do not be fooled. The exercises that most transform a painful back are not always the most dramatic ones. Very often they are the ones that rebuild the foundation, and the bird dog does exactly that. Now let's move to exercise number 2, which addresses one of the most overlooked causes of chronic lower back pain. Exercise number 2, glute bridge. Let me tell you something that surprises a lot of people. Sometimes the real problem in your lower back does not begin in the back. It begins lower down. It begins in the glutes. Yes, really, your glutes, especially the gluteus maximus, are some of the most powerful and important muscles for protecting the spine. They help extend the hip, stabilize the pelvis, and distribute the load when you stand up, walk, climb steps, or rise from a chair. The problem is that over the years, and especially with long hours of sitting, those muscles can become lazy. It is not that they stop existing. It is that they stop participating the way they should. This is often informally called gluteal amnesia. The body gets used to not using them well. And who pays the price? The lower back. If your glutes do not push, your back compensates. If your hips do not help, your back compensates. If your legs do not help you stand up, your back compensates. And that compensation, repeated thousands of times over weeks and months, turns into pain, stiffness, fatigue, and a feeling of overload. The glute bridge is one of the best exercises for giving the body back that lost cooperation. It does not just strengthen the glutes. It also improves pelvic control, teaches hip extension without bending the back, and reduces the tendency to do everything with the lower back. Here is how to do it. Lie on your back on a mat or a firm rug, bend both knees, and place your feet on the floor about hip width apart. Your heels should be fairly close to your glutes, close enough that you could almost brush them with your fingertips. Your arms rest by your sides, palms down. Before you lift, take a breath and gently engage your abdomen. Do not force your back flat into the floor. Just stabilize your trunk a little. Now squeeze your glutes and push the floor away with your feet to lift your hips slowly. Lift until your body forms a reasonable line between your shoulders, hips, and knees, but do not exaggerate it. And here is the key detail. Do not try to rise as high as possible at any cost. If in order to go higher you end up arching your lower back, you are no longer doing a glute bridge, you are forcing your spine. The feeling of effort should be centered in your glutes and the back of your thighs, not in a pinch in your lower back. Hold at the top for 2 seconds. Breathe and lower very slowly. Do not drop down. That controlled descent is also training. It also strengthens. It also teaches the body. Do 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions, resting between sets. If you get hamstring cramps, move your feet a little farther away or think more about squeezing the glutes before lifting. If you feel your back instead of your glutes, you are probably lifting too high or too fast. Why does this exercise change life so much for many people? Because it improves everyday movements very directly. Standing up from a deep chair starts to feel easier. Climbing a step feels less heavy. Walking becomes steadier. Even standing for a long time can improve, because the lower back is no longer trying to do all the work alone. And here I want to pause for a moment to say something very important. Strengthening the glutes is not an aesthetic goal. After 60, strengthening the glutes is a strategy for protection. Protection for the back, protection for the knees, protection for the pelvis, protection for walking, protection for independence. If this video is already helping you understand your pain in a different way, this is a good time to leave a link and subscribe to the channel. It really helps more older adults find clear, useful, practical information instead of confusing advice that only makes things worse. And now we come to exercise number 1. Exercise number 1. McGill Curl Up. This exercise deserves your full attention. Because if there is one movement that completely changed the way many specialists think about core training for people with lower back pain, it is this one. Most people, when they think about strengthening the abdomen, think about traditional sit-ups, lifting and lowering the trunk, curling the chest toward the knees, repeating it again and again. But for many people with lower back pain, that kind of repeated spinal flexion can be too aggressive, especially if there is already disc sensitivity, stiffness, degeneration, or pain with bending forward. The McGill curl-up was created as a much smarter alternative. It does not aim to bend the spine again and again. It aims to activate the abdominal muscles while keeping the back in a safe position. That changes everything, because the job of the abdomen is not only to curl you forward. Its most important job, in many real-life situations, is to stabilize, resist excessive movement, and help distribute forces so the lower back does not carry everything alone. When those muscles do their job well, they act like a natural brace. Not an external brace squeezing you from the outside, but an internal muscular structure protecting the lower back from within. And that is exactly what this exercise teaches. Here is how to do it. Lie on your back on a firm surface. A mat on the floor is ideal. Do not do it on a soft bed because your body sinks and you lose your reference. Extend one leg straight on the floor and keep the other knee bent with the foot planted. That combination is not random. It helps stabilize the pelvis and reduces unnecessary tension. Now place your hands under the natural curve of your lower back, not to push it, not to flatten it, just to maintain that small natural curve, and make sure the lower back does not change position. Take a breath, gently engage your abdomen, and now, keeping your neck long and your chin slightly tucked, lift only your head and shoulders a little. Very little, much less than most people imagine. You are not trying to sit up. You are not doing a traditional crunch. You just want to slightly lift the upper shoulder blades, while the abdomen works and the lower back stays stable. Hold that position for 8 to 10 seconds, breathing normally. This is important. Do not hold your breath. If you can speak a short sentence while holding the position, you are probably using an appropriate level of tension. Then lower slowly, rest for a few seconds, and repeat. Do 5 repetitions with one leg bent, then switch the legs and do another 5. Complete 3 sets if you tolerate it well. Now let's talk about common mistakes, because this is where many people go wrong. First mistake, pulling with the neck. If you lift your head using your neck and end up with tension in your throat or pain in your neck, you are doing too much. Reduce the height. Think about lifting the chest with the help of the abdomen, not jamming the head forward. Second mistake, flattening the lower back into the floor. We do not want that. We want to preserve the natural curve. Third mistake, lifting too high, as if you were trying to do a regular crunch. You do not need to. More height does not mean more benefit. Fourth mistake, holding your breath. Remember, this exercise is training functional stability, not desperate straining. Why does it work so well? Because it teaches the core to activate without punishing the back. It teaches the body to generate protective stiffness where needed, without resorting to repetitive movement that can aggravate some people's symptoms, and for older adults that can make a huge difference. If I had to summarize the central idea of this exercise in one sentence, it would be this. Protecting the spine does not always mean moving more. Sometimes it means learning to move better and resist unnecessary movement better. And that brings us to a key point. These three exercises work so well together because each one solves a different part of the problem. The bird dog trains stability and cross-body control. The glute bridge restores strength and support from the pelvis and hips. The McGill curl-up strengthens the core without requiring repeated lumbar flexion. Together, the three create a very powerful routine for people who feel their back cannot handle much, gets tired, locks up, or flares up during everyday tasks. Now, there is something I need to say honestly. These exercises can help tremendously, but they are not magic. They do not promise to fix you forever in one afternoon. They do not replace a medical evaluation if you have red flags. They do not undo in 1 week what has been building for years. But they can begin to change the terrain. They can reduce irritation. They can improve support. They can give you more control. They can bring back confidence. And when practiced consistently, many people notice that getting out of bed, walking, standing up, and getting through the day no longer feels like a constant battle. Now I want to give you a very practical way to use this routine at home. You do not need to do it for an hour. You do not need to exhaust yourself. Start like this. Do the bird dog first, because it prepares coordination and stability. Then do the glute bridge, to wake up the posterior chain, and finish with the McGill curl-up, to reinforce the front support of the trunk. You can do it like this. 2 or 3 sets of bird dog, 2 or 3 sets of glute bridge, 2 or 3 sets of McGill curl-up, all with short rests and slow movements. In total, it may take you between 8 and 12 minutes. That is all. 8 to 12 minutes a day invested in the structure that supports you every time you stand, sit, walk, turn, or bend. And here comes another part most people underestimate: consistency. Many people try a routine for 2 days and then decide it did not work. But the deep muscles, motor control, and back tolerance do not change in 48 hours. They need repetition. They need patience. They need safety. What usually happens is this. In the first week you realize how weak or uncoordinated you were. In the second week, you begin to feel more control. In the third or fourth week, some everyday movements begin to feel less threatening. And after several weeks, the body starts responding differently to the same loads that used to trigger pain or stiffness. That said, you should always listen to warning signs. If an exercise causes sharp pain, tingling down the leg, marked weakness, or a clear worsening that lasts for many hours, you need to adjust or consult a professional. And here I want to give you some red flags you should not ignore. Seek medical attention if lower back pain comes with major weakness in one leg, loss of bladder or bowel control, fever, unexplained weight loss, severe nighttime pain that does not change with position, or pain after a serious fall. Those cases require professional assessment and should not be managed only with online exercises. But if your case is like that of many adults over 60, mechanical pain, stiffness, overload, weakness, fear of movement, pain when standing up, or discomfort after sitting too long, then this routine can be an excellent foundation to start rebuilding. And there is one more important thing I want you to remember. The goal is not only to reduce pain, the goal is to restore function, because a back that hurts a little less but still feels weak is still limiting your life. What we really want is for you to feel capable. Capable of standing up without thinking twice. Capable of walking longer. Capable of carrying a reasonable bag of groceries. Capable of getting in and out of the car with less stiffness. Capable of living with more confidence in your body. And that is exactly what good exercises do. They do not just lower symptoms, they restore ability. Now let me break one more myth before we close. Many people think that after a certain age, deterioration takes over and there is not much to do. That is not true. Yes, the body changes. Yes, there is wear and tear. Yes, recovery may be slower. But muscle still responds. The nervous system still learns. Coordination can improve. Posture can improve. Tolerance to activity can improve. And mechanical pain can decrease significantly when you start giving your spine back the support it has lost. Age does not take you out of the game. It just changes the rules. And once you understand those rules, you can train more intelligently. That is what we have done today. Instead of chasing quick relief with movements that may be irritating your back, we focused on 3 exercises that build real protection. Protection through stability. Protection through the glutes. Protection through the core. So let's review one last time. The bird dog to wake up and coordinate the deep stabilizers of the spine. The glute bridge to restore strength to the pelvis and take work away from the lower back, and the McGill curl up to build a natural brace with your abdominal muscles without repeatedly bending the spine. 3 exercises, 10 minutes. A small investment, a potentially enormous impact. If you do this routine with patience, good form, and consistency, you will not just be exercising, you will be telling your body, let's give you back the structure you need to move safely again. And that is worth a lot. Before you go, I want you to tell me in the comments which of these 3 exercises you are going to try first today. The bird dog, the glute bridge, or the McGill curl up. And also tell me whether your pain shows up more in the morning, after sitting, or after walking a lot. I would love to know, because it helps me prepare more videos exactly around what this community needs. If you know someone who has been suffering with lower back pain for a long time, share this video with them. Sometimes a clear explanation and a simple routine can completely change the way someone lives their day. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next videos on mobility, strength, balance, and healthy aging after 60. Thank you so much for watching. Move calmly. Move with intention. Move with confidence. And remember this, your back does not need punishment, it needs support. And when you start giving it that support, your body can surprise you in incredible ways.